Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well. Let me know in the comments and that you're all good and you've got plans for the weekend. It's going to be a good one here. It's Jack's birthday on Monday, so we've got a party planned for him and everything else you'll do for a little boy. Well, he'll be 10 years old. I can't believe it. I remember him when he was that big. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about taxis. Yes, taxi drivers. One big problem we have in the area I live particularly, and I'm sure it's true in a lot of areas, we have a shortage of private hire and hackney taxi drivers. And a lot of this was the fault of the pandemic. They went off and did other things to make ends meet and quite simply didn't come back. Many taxi drivers around my area, for example, now do Just Eat and Uber Eats because each delivery pays more. There's no circuit fee to pay a company, the insurance is cheaper, and you can do it in a full Fiesta with hardly any seats. It's really that simple. Now, this creates a situation where you need other taxi drivers to come through to replace the ones that are lost. And I believe that the taxi industry or the councils and local authorities that control all this don't want any more taxi drivers. Is this the way of wheedling it all out, trying to make sure that not so many cars are on the road and pushing everyone on Shanks's pony and all that kind of thing? It's crazy. I'll give you an example. Back in the day, I've been doing this 12 years and I had to do a knowledge test which was free, and there was 40 questions. I had to have a medical, net result of which was those, and I had to do a DBS check, or a disclosure and barring service check, to, you know, have a basic check of my criminal history. Thankfully I haven't been naughty boy. And every 3 years I have to redo the medical and I have to redo the DBS check. The knowledge test is, you know, carried through with me throughout my taxi career. And I don't actually do any local work really anymore. It's all distance stuff by virtue of the airport business. Anyway, the other operators who rely purely on circuit fees they collect from the taxi drivers that work here are very concerned about the level of new people coming through, and they've been badgering the council to look at the complexity of the knowledge test and everything else. And I received an email today from my local council, Thanet District Council. I don't mind naming them. And what they've done, they've outsourced the knowledge test to another company, which is a disaster waiting to happen to begin with. And they've given a great big list of things which a prospective new taxi driver has to now do. Now, if I was from the outside looking in, I would look at this and think, fuck that, I think I'll go and do something else. Have a listen to this. A report was taken to licensing board in March, re the knowledge test. A further report was taken to the license board in June as it was requested in the previous meeting. It was a decision of the board that the knowledge test be outsourced to a company called Green Penny, and this has now been finalised. Now, this is the first thing. The course, you have to do a course now, and it will last a full day, and it's for both private hire and hackney drivers, to be held locally, and it will cost £130 per applicant. Now, the taxi licence, the initial taxi licence on its own, if you include the medical, is well over 200 and something anyway. Oh wow, the £130 includes a lunch, and if you fail the examination at the end of the day, you get a free reset. What happens if you fail again, I wonder? Now, the course will cover English language assessment prior to taking the course. Now, that I do agree with, because there is an awful lot of taxi drivers I've seen in my time who can't speak the lingo. Statutory taxi and private hire standards, council conditions and policy, if applicable, customer service, well, surely that's a given, isn't it? Personal safety, I could tell you some stories. Reporting of crimes, no, you hit the panic button and let the rest of them sort it out. How to deal with customer complaints, highway code, rules relating to dropping off and picking up passengers, speed awareness, vehicle condition. I don't get that because the vehicle is inspected twice a year anyway by the council, and they tell you whether it's good enough. Disability and equality awareness, safeguarding responsibilities, payment and basic arithmetic. I was crap at maths and I can give change. Why? And local knowledge, 10 questions. Now, I heard that the knowledge was more complicated and that part of it was to be scaled back. Now, what they're saying is, well, we've got sat-navs now, so why do we need a knowledge test? I happen to disagree with this quite strongly, because sometimes when you drive into an area, London, for example, with all the LTNs and everything else, things change very rapidly. Roads are closed, roadworks here. Sat-navs don't always adapt to it immediately. But there you go. It's far, far more complicated than it ever was back in my day when I applied. If you're a taxi driver and you're listening to this, let me know if you've got similar where you are or what your thoughts are on it. But to me, with doing this, it's just going to put people off and they're not going to want to do the job. And, you know, we all, as taxi operators that run our own businesses, are forever having that shortage of drivers. I've got 3 blokes that work for me on a self-employed basis now. I trust them all. They get on absolutely great. They're brilliant. But what happens if I ever needed more? You tell me. Anyway, I'm off. Look out for news on ULEZ. If anything comes in, I will let you know. Have a good one, folks. See you soon. Toodaloo.